The Fed just rescued Bitcoin, and this could happen on the 10th of December for real, okay? This will be the date where the Fed will come out with the interest rate change, why it all matters for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, and what big billionaires like Charlie Munger or Bill Gates said about interest rates and why it's so important for the stock market. All about this here in this vlog.
Welcome to the game, I'm the wolf of Dubai.
Welcome to a brand new video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Danny and I'm looking for stocks that can go up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50x. My subscribers bought already houses and apartments, so you should be subscribed to both of my channels that we are currently growing, which is my second channel and my third channel, and follow me on X. And if you want to day trade with us and we should day trade for you into your broker, then check out xtendaytrading.com. We haven't lost a trade since 2.5 weeks, which is insane. We are running 10 trades in a row that were winners. Obviously, this is day trading. We also lose sometimes trades, but we want to average about 8 to 15% in your portfolio. So if you start with $10,000, you should somewhere be around 58 after the first 12 months. And if this is interesting for you and you want to get into it before we raise our joining fee, then check out xtendaytrading.com. And I will see you obviously there for a personal call and understanding what you want to achieve and if we can even help you in the first place. So check out xtendaytrading.com and schedule a call with me. Now, why the Fed is such important metrics on the market, right? And I thought, like, what could be the best way to explain this? And I think that when we look back, the interest rates were very low in the 2000s, right? 2019. And that's why we had all-time highs just with a small, let's say, COVID crash on the way, right? But other than that, we saw crazy improvements because the stocks love cheap capital, right? The people buying, crazy risk assets, crypto went higher, all the different new type of asset classes like pictures on blockchain. It was absolutely crazy, right? But there's a clip 6 years ago where Bill Gates and Charlie Munger actually explain it, how interest rates are actually like gravity for share. Let's have a look.
Just taking a look at what we've been watching with the markets today. Obviously, things are under a little bit of pressure today, but we have been looking at much higher markets if you go back to the Christmas Eve low and the concern about what the Fed might or might not be doing. Since that time, the Fed has sounded much more dovish. And I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about your own take on the markets. And Bill, again, I've spoken with Warren and Charlie earlier about this a little bit. So how about your take? When you hear that the Federal Reserve is probably not going to be raising interest rates anytime soon, how does that change your outlook on equities or equities versus treasuries?
Well, the interest rate is like gravity, and all these valuations are dramatically affected by it. At the start of the year, people didn't think the 10-year bond would be where it is today, and that's provided a lot of lift. So it was a big first quarter for U.S. equities. We still, if you look forward, are at these very high valuation levels. And so it's hard to see that the market will be gaining a lot over the next few years. I think people should have fairly modest expectations on what their portfolios will make in the years in front of us. Have
you changed your positions in your own portfolio as a result of this? Have you done any major?
No, it's a very equity-oriented portfolio. It's overweight in the U.S., even though it's got a lot of overseas exposure. It's a bullish portfolio that the American economy over time will do well. Fortunately, even if we have a few years here where markets are doing that well, we've been lucky. We have a cushion. The foundation continue to spend generously. Mm-hmm. But I'm amazed at how high the valuations are if you look broadly.
Charlie, do you think that?
Well, sure. I think that if you drive interest rates down to zero and all the countries print money like crazy, it's lifted the asset boat for everybody. And I think it really is. So they didn't have anything else to do in the Great Recession. And so they took the only weapon they had and used it aggressively. I don't think we should quarrel with that. It did cause the people who were already rich to get richer. But that wasn't done on purpose or anything like that. And I think that will correct automatically.
Do you think we should still be using that weapon aggressively, which is what President Trump would like to see happen? He wants them to cut interest rates again, I think he said by 1%, and also push up quantitative easing once again.
I am so afraid of democracy getting the idea that you can just print money to solve all problems. And eventually I know that will fail. Singapore, which has a marvelous economy, has zero debt. If I were running the world, I would like the United States to be in that position. That is not the typical, that's nobody's position. No, all these politicians in Europe and America have learned to print money.
So now you understand like why it's so important to have cheap money for the markets, and obviously this gives risk as well. But we don't talk about the risks now. We talk about what actually the market thought towards going this week, okay? They thought that the rate cut is out of the table, okay? The probability was less than 20%. Then this week we had a lot of Fed speakers. That's important to understand, okay, what is going on in this week? Who's speaking on the market? What is going on? And when you saw that statements, then you actually became and the market became quite bullish. So you can see here by the first comments that the statements by the Fed people actually were quite positive, right? So people said like, hey, you know what? Well, we could see another cut this next meeting, right? So, and the market went absolutely crazy. Here you can see actually that we spiked 80% probability that we will cut this December. Okay, so you can see that markets like Poly market are actually betting. It's like a forecasting market where they actually bet why things can go up and down, and they are now thinking the Fed is cutting rates. And that's why we saw this huge rally in the beginning of that week, right? So you have seen the big rally. If you're going into BMNR, you see here that we saw this huge gain and of about like 20% since that statement. That helped already the huge rally that we had on Monday, and everybody was like, oh, you know, if that is happening, then actually Ethereum will go higher. That means that Bitcoin will go higher, and people will have more money, and institutions will have more money to buy more risk assets, and the whole cycle is closing. So this is obviously extremely bullish. But what needs to happen? Now the rumors is out. The probability is high again, right? So the risk is there that if they don't cut, then everything goes down again. But if the Fed is cutting, that is one of the best signals ever for bullishness on the markets, okay? And if they really cut, then you can see from now till the Fed meeting raising stock prices. We just had like a small correction, which is very healthy. And then if they really cut, we should see like maybe all-time highs towards the end of the year. This is obviously never financial advice, no promise. You know, the stock market can go up and down, nobody knows. But if this is something that you agree on, let me know in the comments. And obviously I see you tomorrow for a brand new video. And remember, the grass is greener always on the other side. And check out xtendaytrading.com if you want us to trade for you. All our team are trading for you and sending you the trades into your portfolio, the buying and the selling all automatically. Check it out and schedule a call this week.